In today's video, I want to talk about the awesome character from across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Punk. He's definitely one of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite, because he's so cool. To be honest, before watching the movie I thought he might be a rival to Miles, like there'd be some kind of love triangle drama going on between them. But it turns out that wasn't the case at all. Instead, he was more like a brother to Miles in the movie, which really surprised me. I initially thought he was going to be kind of a jerk, but his personality is just so badass and cool that it's impossible not to like him. It's pretty clear that Gwen must have been talking about Miles a lot while she was in Spider-Punk's dimension, because when he saw Miles for the first time, he had a pretty good idea of who he was, and he liked him right away. Even though Spider-Punk didn't have a ton of screen time in the movie, the scenes he did have were totally amazing. If it wasn't for him, none of the action and excitement that happened in the movie would have taken place. He really set the whole story in motion. Now let's talk about the thing between him and Gwen. A lot of people seem to think that there's something going on between them, and I believe that's exactly what the creators of the movie intended. The film clearly focuses on the love story between Miles and Gwen, and it's made pretty clear that Spider-Punk and Gwen don't have any romantic involvement. You don't really see any signs of Gwen showing interest in him in that way. And knowing Spider-Punk, he's not the type of guy who would try to get in the way of Miles and Gwen's relationship. Instead, he playfully teases Miles, like when he mentioned Gwen leaving her toothbrush at his place or when he commented on her shoes. He was trying to get a reaction out of Miles, and it worked. Miles got a little jealous. You could see him watching Miles to see his reaction, and Gwen, being the empathetic person she is, noticed that Miles was feeling a bit uneasy about the whole situation. That's not what she wanted, but it just goes to show the kind of guy Spider-Punk is. He's a jokester who likes to mess around and make some witty remarks, like when he said he doesn't believe in comedy.
You're not a joke, right, gang? Absolutely, completely on the music. I don't believe in comedy. Just kidding.
He's just a fantastic character who brings so much personality to the movie. Rather than being a rival to Miles, Spider-Punk turns out to be a true ally to him. One interesting detail is how his color scheme changes when he's around Miles, which adds an extra layer of complexity to his character. Speaking of complexity, his animation is incredibly intricate and unique. It took over 3 years to perfect it. This makes him really stand out in the movie, and in my opinion, he's definitely one of the MVPs, if not the MVP, of the entire film. It's hard not to like him. Hobie is such a great guy that he was even willing to create a dimension traveling watch for Miles. During their conversation, when Hobie was asking Miles about his reasons for being there and wanting to join the Spider Society, he was also fiddling with some stuff in the background. I believe he was actually gathering pieces to create a watch for Miles, since both him and Gwen already had one, but Miles didn't. This could be why he suggested that Miles create his own watch. He was already in the process of making one for him. Another interesting fact about Hobie: he's not part of the Spider Society because he particularly likes it there. He's mainly there to protect Gwen, as he mentioned. It's clear that he cares deeply for both Gwen and Miles, which is evident in the way he refers to them as Peter and Wendy.
Wendy, how much have you told him?
Yo, that's enough.
I believe this is a clever reference to Peter Pan and Wendy, and it's a testament to the bond that Hobie shares with Miles and Gwen. There's a moment in the movie when Miles asks Peter B. Parker to stop calling him a kid, and Hobie's reaction is just priceless.
Kid, stop calling me.
Here we go.
Hobie, you're not helping.
Good.
Later on, when Miles gets trapped by a barrier created by Miguel to prevent him from escaping to save his father, Hobie gives him some crucial advice. Just like the first time they met, when Hobie advised Miles to use his palm instead of just his fingers to channel his electric powers, this advice helped Miles break free and continue his mission. Hobie's guidance was essential in helping Miles harness his full strength and potential. When everyone else in the Spider Society was chasing after Miles, Hobie made an incredibly cool move. He quit.
Just for the record, I quit.
But that's not all. Hobie didn't just leave Gwen hanging when she was kicked out of the Spider Society. Remember that watch he was creating while chatting with Miles? Since Gwen's dimension traveling watch was blocked after she was kicked out, Hobie gave her the watch he had been working on. I believe he originally intended it for Miles, but since Gwen needed it more, he decided to help her out. It's clear that Hobie knows Gwen has feelings for Miles, and if you pay close attention to the watch, it's actually set to Miles' universe. This shows that Hobie really wanted to make sure Gwen could get to Miles' universe to save him. His loyalty to his friends and his understanding of their feelings is just another reason why he's such an amazing character. His decision to join Gwen's band and rescue Miles was no surprise. Gwen was determined to save Miles at all costs, and Hobie, being the loyal friend he is, was right there with her. He was essentially Miles' right-hand man throughout the movie, so it made sense for him to be part of Gwen's team. One thing I'm really looking forward to in Beyond the Spider-Verse is seeing the interaction between Hobie and Spider-Man Noir. I think their personalities would mesh really well, and it would be awesome to see them working together. In summary, Hobie's character in Across the Spider-Verse was fantastic. There was no rivalry between him and Miles. Their relationship was more like that of brothers, which was really heartwarming to see. His loyalty, observant nature, and directness made him a standout character in the movie.